Hello and welcome to Your Neighborhood Show. I'm Carolyn, and Your Neighborhood Show is about drawing out amazing stories of everyday people, of times in their lives when they have felt both connected as well as disconnected. Because that's the nature of life itself. We aim to normalize both connection as well as disconnection. None of us escape disconnection at some point in our life. So let's welcome it, experience it, and celebrate it. Because if you don't experience disconnection, how can you experience the magic of connection? Hello and welcome to our episode today. Our guest today is the lovely Kristie Melling. And I've been so lucky actually to have met Kristie because a couple of months ago, about 3 months ago, I think it was, I was wanting to learn how to use Canva. And I just put a little post on our local community Facebook group. And Kristie was one of the people that responded pretty much immediately. Yeah. And she lives in my neighborhood. So she just came over the next day and she started teaching me Canva. And and that's how we met. And it's been amazing. And just getting to know her over the last couple of months has been so lovely because you've got such an amazing story of resilience and real life lessons that you've learned.
Thank you.
So get ready for a great episode. Welcome, Kristie.
Great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
I also wanted to say that Kristie was a massage therapist for most of her life.
Yes.
And only in her probably 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Yeah, probably 6 or 8 years ago. Yeah.
She kind of pivoted into a completely new line of work, which you'll hear about soon. So,
yes.
Welcome again,
Thank
Kristie.
you. Thank you for having me.
How
Really
are you
appreciate
feeling
it.
this morning?
Really good. Excited. Excited to be here. Yeah.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it's been a really lovely weekend. Just chilling out with some friends and going to see some live music, which was really nice.
Yay. What did you see?
I went to Soul Sunday. It's DJs, but it's some friends of mine at a little bar just down in West End that a friend of mine runs called Mirrorball Ministries. And she's just created a beautiful space in one of the old, I think it was a bingo hall down in West End. Yeah, it's beautiful. She's all about like retro and like disco, and the venue has I think it's almost 2 meter in diameter mirror ball inside the main room. It's fantastic. I must tell
both my boys because both my sons are into music.
Yes, it's really fun. It's a beautiful venue. She's really put a lot of love and a lot of effort into it.
So good.
It was really
so
lovely.
Good that it's local.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us. We always start the episode with a little bit about your own childhood to give us a bit of a context and a background into. I really believe that our childhood kind of informs and almost defines our adult life in many ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't realize it or realize it quite late in life.
Yes.
So share with us a bit about your growing up years. I know you grew up in Gladstone.
Yes.
Tell us about your, up to about when you were a teenager, your siblings, your parents and all of that.
I was really lucky. Like Gladstone is a pretty small, it's a smallish industrial kind of town.
Were you born in Gladstone?
Yep.
Yeah,
born and raised. Don't tell anyone. I was really lucky. Both my parents were really like wonderful people. They ran their own small business. So I think nowadays we would call them entrepreneurs.
What was the business?
So Dad was an auto electrician by trade. And basically, because Gladstone was an industrial sort of town, there was a lot of work there for him. So he moved up from Brisbane when he was, I think, in his early 20s with my mum. And they, went to seek their fortunes out of Brisbane and, basically started working. They had sort of multiple staff. They did a whole bunch of kind of business there. They were very integral inside the town. Like they were a very kind of big part of the kind of fabric of the community.
Were they involved in community stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, dad was pretty much on call 24/7. So, dad didn't so much involve too much in the community when I was very young, but my mum was very deeply involved in a lot of community activity. It was something that really filled her up. You could tell that she was really like had a big desire to be involved in supporting and helping other people. And so she was involved in a community group called Scope, which did stand for something. But
what?
So the word
Scope
sort of meant something, but I couldn't tell you what it meant. But it was a women's community group essentially, and they organised everything from local fetes and community events. They supported the elderly. They did like events.
Amazing.
Yeah, like so many different things. And I think it was one of those things where you don't realise it until you sort of look back on it, that it was a group of, I think in Gladstone, it was easily like 20 or 30 women from all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of different life experience that all came together to essentially like build community.
So good.
Yeah, it was really amazing. And I was lucky because I was just kind of immersed in it. Like it wasn't something.
Did the kids get involved in help with the organising and stuff?
Yeah, so we were always roped into doing something.
That's
it was
amazing.
It was a Sunday. You'd be at a fete collecting, selling baked goods or. Mum, when I was quite young, because my parents ran their own business, and this was one of those like childcare kind of times. My mum got me pretty deeply involved in an after-school group called with the Salvation Army. So we weren't particularly religious, but it definitely, I think it was one of those like, well, you need something to do in the afternoons, so we'll get you into the. Initially, it's called Sunbeams. So when you're under, I think 12 or 13, and then from sort of 13 to sort of 15, you go into what's called the Salvation Army Guards.
And what kind of stuff did you all do? This is after school.
Yeah, so this was after school. I specifically remember it was a Wednesday after school, and so it was all kinds of things. It was homemaking kind of stuff, learning how to sew a button, learning how to make like custard and like all of these, sort of things. It was a little bit akin to sort of scouts.
Yeah.
And so you would go on camps and you would meet other kids from other churches. And you would do all these kinds of things.
And was this only for girls, or did your brothers go as well?
Sunbeams was for girls. There was a specific one, I think, for boys, but I couldn't tell you what that was called. So, but yeah, it was really great. I made some really lovely friends through that. Like it was a really nice way to kind of have some structure and some friends. I think it was also just my mum's way of being like, free childcare after school.
But also giving you like life skills outside of school.
Yeah, 100%. And part of that, because it was involved with the Salvation Army, you would do yearly the Red Shield appeal. So you would go door knocking, door to door on a Sunday. And that was actually great because it showed you, it built confidence. Like it was, you were kind of paired up with a friend and you would walk around and, hello, we're from the like Salvation Army Red Shield appeal. Would you like to donate some money? It taught us also, I mean, even just small things like cash handling skills, money counting, understanding like how to speak to people who weren't our parents. And it gave us a lot of autonomy. We had like a lot of ability to sort of make decisions, and we had to kind of, does that house look safe? Like, do we want to go there? Like,
amazing.
Those kinds of things.
And also being in a small, Gladstone's relatively small compared to say Brisbane.
Yes.
Everyone would kind of know everyone in a way, so it's a bit safer as well. For
Yeah.
kids. How old were you when you're going door knocking?
I think from the age of about 8 to about 12 or 13. Yeah. So you got paired up with someone who was potentially a little bit older than you when you were a little.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's like a model childhood, pretty much. You go to school in a small community. Your parents do community work. They know everyone.
They do.
And then your children go to this after school, not care, but more
Yep,
socials, more
socializing.
learning of more different life skills.
Yeah, it was. I would say it was pretty idyllic. Like,
Do you have friends that you're still in contact with from those earlier days?
yeah, I've still got some childhood friends who I went through, say, primary school and like primary school right through into high school. We're still friends now. Again, it kind of ebbs and flows, but yeah, it was
The connections are still there.
Yeah, the connection's still there. We still we catch up semi-regularly, birthdays, like events, things like that. So yeah.
And what about your siblings?
So 2 older brothers. So I'm the youngest of 3. My dad always wanted a girl, so I said they stopped when they got to perfection.
I love it.
So 2 older brothers. We're all about 2 years apart. So this again, I feel like my parents had the perfect timings down.
Yes.
We all got along fairly well. Like everyone was pretty. Pretty cool.
Are you close to your brothers?
I think in the most way that you can be, like when you're sort of all living your own lives. Definitely.
No, I mean when you were younger. When you were
when we were younger, I guess it was always I was always the girl child. So my brothers were out doing they were riding dirt bikes and fixing cars with my dad and all of those kinds of things. And I think my dad kind of wanted to kind of keep me out of it. So I always did things with my mum. So that was why, again, that was kind of why I was always taken to community events, because that was what my mum was doing. So, but yeah, we had, I think, a pretty okay relationship mostly. It was, there was definitely some tenuous times, but there always is. So,
so good. So, what was the name of your primary school again?
I went to a foundational primary school in Gladstone, so it was brand new.
Saying,
And we were the first. I was part of the first grade 1 class, so it went fully 1 to 7, and it was called Kinkora, Kinkora. So Kinkora.
So yours was the foundational class.
We were the foundational class. We went from grade 1 to grade 7. The school was established. I think so it would have been 85, 86, like that it was established.
Was this community established by community or government?
No, it was a government state school. So state school. But it was Gladstone was growing as a community, and so I think they just decided that it was time for a new school. So we just basically had the whole first 7 years we were there. So it was
founding school kids.
Founding members.
That's right. And what about grandparents? Did you have grandparents close by? Or?
Yeah, I was really lucky. My maternal grandparents lived in Tannum Sands, which is about 15 or 20 minutes out of Gladstone, but towards the coast. So they lived quite close to the beach. And we would spend like school holidays with my grandparents, which was really fun.
So how far in terms of distance?
Like maybe 20, 30 Ks from Gladstone. So again, it was
half an hour.
Yeah, it was not super far. It made it great because we'd go. So you could go for Thursday night dinner, or you could go for a weekend. I know we would very regularly have like a Sunday lunch, like a roast lunch. I remember spending time with my grandmother over the holidays and things like that. And we would, she was very big into baking. So she would make cookies and scones, and she taught me how to bake, which is, I still really love baking now. So, it was great, because then you'd also end up with like barrels and barrels of cookies, which is also pretty good.
So you had a pretty much idyllic kind of early childhood.
Yeah, early childhood was pretty great.
Tell us what happens when you go to high school.
Yes, high school. So
you different school from 7
Yep.
onwards.
So so after we graduated from grade 7, we went to one of the local high schools. So there were 3 local high schools in Gladstone. One was a private Catholic school, which I was never going to go to. And I went to State High, so just the standard like State High in Gladstone.
State High, in Gladstone, yes,
Yeah.
because there's a
So
State High here in Brisbane.
Yes. No, not smart enough to go to the State High in Brisbane.
Oh, stop it.
So went to the state school and graduated with all of my friends. And when I was about probably 13 or 14, I woke up one morning and I was in possibly the most like white hot pain I had ever felt in my life.
Just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, yeah. I remember like I was lying in my bed and I went to like roll over to like get out of bed and I couldn't move. Like
Wow.
and
Were you into sports or something before that, or it just came out of?
No. So the doctors and everyone sort of decided that what had happened was I was quite into motorbike riding with my dad. So I would be a passenger, like a pillion with my dad on his motorbike, and he would go on motorbike rides with a bunch of his friends, and occasionally I would, just jump on the back of someone else's motorbike. And one of his friends had a motorbike with a sidecar. So when you're sort of riding on with a sidecar, you have to lean in, and it feels very precarious because the sidecar
vulnerable.
is quite
Yeah,
heavy.
yeah.
And I leant. The theory is I leant the wrong way, and somehow that popped out a couple of discs in my lumbar spine. And so what I was experiencing that I didn't realize at the time was sciatic pain. So I had pretty deep sciatic pain that came like all the way down my legs into my feet, and essentially spent
And you're 13 or 14?
13, 13, 14, like in that sort of period. So I spent almost a full month just being unable to move around or walk or any of those kinds of things. So it was really scary, to be fair. Had a couple of doctor's appointments, had scans and all those kinds of things. And the doctors were like, well, we can do surgery.
Really?
Yeah.
That soon?
That was what they wanted to do, yeah. So that was kind of, I guess at the time.
Is this after a month, you're saying?
Yeah, so this was basically, they were sort of like, there's not anything else we can really do. We're not really sure, we're not sure how this kind of happened. The doctor was like, the thing we can do is we can do spinal surgery essentially to fuse your spine together, and essentially just try to they would nick the side of the disc to try to pull the disc off the end of the nerve. My mum said, absolutely not. No spinal surgery, please. And I think, again, growing body,
Yes.
all those sort of things, it's like the last thing that you really want to do is just slice it open and fuse it all together. So
how did you cope?
pretty poorly a lot of the time, but my mum basically decided that I needed, it was a physical problem, so we needed a physical solution. So I started having regular massage. I started having regular physio. So I was seeing physios 2 to 3 times a week. I was having massage around once every fortnight. I started doing all kinds of diets and different sorts of things to try to help reduce inflammation in my body and all of these kinds of things. I also took pain medication, so doctor prescribed pain medications. I basically started to try to do physical therapy essentially.
So this has now progressed for more than a month. It's continuing.
Yeah. It's
And you're in grade
8 grade 8 was kind of when it was that was when it all sort of started.
Bang on puberty and all of that too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
As if you don't have enough to deal with at that time.
Yeah, it was a lot. So
And how did the pain impact you in school? Like your ways of being in school, or
I think it was one of those things where it made me a really hard person. I think I had a really like hard kind of exterior.
what do you mean?
So I it yeah, it's kind of hard. It feels a bit harder to explain, but you just end up, if you let yourself kind of be soft, it would be painful. So if I let myself relax, I was always kind of bracing myself a little bit.
As in physically.
Yeah. But then I think that translated across into being physically tough, like emotionally tough and like a little bit shut down from people. And so you sort of end up, sort of being the, like, you have to kind of be tough all the time. And so you're sort of, you end up being the tough girl. So yeah, that was kind of what
And
happened.
why do you think you wanted to be that tough girl?
I think if I let myself not be tough, it would be painful. I think it had really like dire, like really like real world consequences for when you would sort of relax. Like if you would relax, everything
So your
would
physical
hurt.
pain would increase.
Yeah, 100%.
So you found that by tensing up and becoming,
Yeah.
did your friends know that you were dealing with all of this?
I think to a degree they did, mostly because there was a lot of accommodations, like as many accommodations as they could kind of make for me at school. I was allowed to get out of my chair and walk around the room if I needed to. By the time I got into kind of upper kind of grade 11 and 12, I fully cut out one whole subject from my day, so like my week, so that I could go to physical therapy and do like exercise and things like that. And so I think there was maybe an understanding that something was going on with me, but I don't think there was any way that anyone could really grasp like kind of what you're going through.
The extent of the pain.
Yeah, the extent of it.
You've got it inside of you.
Yeah.
And you're obviously, I think, just thinking out loud with your around that teenage age, you're trying to fit in, and you don't want to. That bracing yourself is, I'm the same as you kind of thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you don't want to miss out on all those teenage, connections and fun and by being different.
Yeah.
You also talked about being you were quite alternate in your ways, and you hung around with these group of. Tell us about that.
So I guess as everyone could probably see, I was always pretty alternative. I was never the typical kind of girl. So a lot of my friends sort of identified, I guess, as what we would now call LGBT kind of people. So my best friend he came out as gay during that time. And yeah, I guess I hung out with the people who felt like they were more my people. They understood that there was, like stuff going on, and they felt things deeply. And we would write terrible teenage poetry and listen to, 90s grunge music and identify so deeply with the Smashing Pumpkins. It was good. We had a really tight knit group of friends, and I became the protector of most of my friends.
What do you mean? In what way?
In every way. If someone came for my friends, I was the person that stepped in front and said,
Wow.
"Yep."
Like give us an example.
So there was a couple of times where definitely the kind of more, I would say, jock kind of boys would come after my friend who was gay and say, pretty horrible slurs to him.
Really?
Yeah, it was really, like, again, on reflection, pretty awful. And I would just be like, if you want to get to him, you've got to go through me. And I would just literally step in front. And I think, again, maybe part of it is that I knew I was already in pain and there was no way, they couldn't hurt me any more than I was already hurting inside. So I was like, and it was a really interesting way to sort of just reset people, because you'd be like, are you gonna hit a girl? Like that's
amazing, Kristie.
Thank you. It's
like you were from that young age stood up for the underdog kind of thing.
Yeah. I was very protective of people. I think you protect the things you love.
Yeah.
So, and I loved all of those people, and I still do. And I think you end up just wanting to make sure that they're not going to get hurt, because they not that they were fragile, but they were precious. They needed to be protected.
Yeah, and you've also had this great, not great, but you've had the experience of what it is to be in deep pain. So you felt your own pain.
Yeah.
And you know what it is when others feel pain.
Yes.
You know, that's one positive of feeling your pain, is that it develops a sense of deep empathy and compassion for people who are suffering as well, on a different level, maybe emotional or whatever, but that it kind of evokes more empathy and compassion in yourself, because you're dealing with
so
stuff,
much.
You know what I mean? So anybody that's dealing with any other kind of pain, you kind of have that solidarity with almost.
Yeah.
So, and then you said you went on to study massage, and because of, tell us about that. How did that all happen and progress?
I had quite a lot of massage as part of my physical therapy, and I really connected with the massage therapist who I worked with. And
so what age is this now?
I am 16
when you finished high school.
No, still in high school.
Grade 11.
Grade 11, grade 10. And my mum sort of said to me one day, would you like to do a massage course? And I said,
your mum said?
Yes, mum was the catalyst to
What made her say that?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I don't really know, but I think she could see that it was doing a lot for me physically, and I think I think for her potentially it was a way for me to connect with my own body, and it was so I did a 2-weekend massage course, got qualified in Swedish massage when I was 16, and
isn't that amazing?
It was the first thing I think I'd ever enjoyed studying for. I enjoyed understanding how the body worked. I enjoyed understanding how things were connected. And I think there was a certain empowerment to being able to, I guess, touch people and help them feel good. You would do a massage and people would be like, oh, I feel so amazing. And you're like, oh, wait, I did that.
Yes.
I helped them. So
that was a great suggestion by your mother, I reckon.
Yeah, she was a pretty smart lady.
Yeah.
So, so I did that. And I think as a determined and very knowledgeable 16-year-old, I decided that I was going to be a massage therapist. I wanted to.
So you got clarity at 16?
At 16. Yes, as much clarity as a 16-year-old can have.
Well, I had zero clarity. I got clarity at 46.
Excellent.
Anyway, keep going.
So, so I decided I wanted to be a massage therapist. I wanted to move to Brisbane and study when I was 16, was not allowed to do that. So stayed on, finished my high school, did all of my stuff there.
Formal stuff.
Formal things. And then, when I turned 17 and finished high school and moved to Brisbane to become a massage therapist, to find my fame and fortune.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty young to leave home.
It was a lot. I mean, I had friends who were all moving all over the place to go to university and things like that. So it didn't seem out of the pocket.
And your mum and dad, were they okay with that? Being the youngest girl?
Youngest girl child. Mum and dad were super supportive. The course that I did at the time took 2 years. And
so this is in Brisbane now?
This was in Brisbane, yeah. So moved to Brisbane, moved into a flat with a friend. Mum and dad were, I guess, generous and kind enough to essentially pay for my life while I was down here. So they spent 2 years paying my rent, looking after my bills. And
so good.
Yeah.
So you had that unwavering support of your parents.
Yeah. And I think I think because they saw the dedication that I had to it,
Yeah.
and they knew that that was kind of what I wanted to do. So, so I studied for 2 years, and
where did you do which?
the Australian Institute of Applied Science. So,
Nice. Is that the one in Stones Corner?
yes, it was the Stones
I remember
Corner
going
one.
there for, I had just 2010, my marriage broke down and I started going for regular massages there, and they were like $20 because we were the guinea pigs for these
Yep.
students. So
You were
I
our
might have
practice
been
house?
your guinea pig. I don't even know. Might have been.
No,
Oh, no, it was too
it was
young.
too late,
yeah.
too late.
When did
for
you
me.
come to Brisbane?
I moved to Brisbane in 1998. So I was, I just turned 17. So my 18th birthday happened when I was in Brisbane.
So I'm talking 2010.
Yeah. So I'm.
You could have been. Yeah?
Well,
no, or you finished by
no,
then?
I'd
Yeah.
definitely finished by then. So 98, I graduated in 98, 99. Yeah, so 2000 was when I graduated. So yes, I'm older than I appear.
Yes, I told you that. So you've moved to Brisbane.
Yes.
You're renting a place.
Yep.
With
A friend.
myself with a friend.
Yep.
You're enrolled in this 2-year massage course at
Yep.
Australian Institute of Applied Sciences.
Science. Yep.
And then what happens?
Well, I graduated.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
And you still have pain, by the way, all along
Yeah,
this time? Yes,
still pain.
and how are
through
you
all
dealing
that.
with it?
Well, luckily I was enrolled in a massage course, so I was getting 3 to 4 massages a week, which is great. I mean,
Yeah.
they were pretty amateur massages, not gonna lie.
yeah.
But yeah, getting on a massage table like 3 or 4 times a week as part of my study, because that's kind of how you learn.
Yeah.
And so still having quite a bit of pain a lot of the time. But just it was just kind of the white noise that sort of sat in the
you've kind of
background.
gotten used to it in the
Yeah,
background. So
yeah.
you got it when you were 13, you're now 4 years in and you still
Yep.
got pain that you're
still-
managing with painkillers and massage and
Yep.
physio and whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember my dad when he got sciatica quite late in life, and he died. Till the day he died, he had pain in his body, and I asked him once, how do you deal with it? He said, you just get used to it.
Yeah.
And you continue living with the pain and you just learn to deal with it, and as you said, becomes background noise.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, keep going. So then you...
So I finished my study, and I remember I did have a quick phone call with my mum and said, what do I do now? And she said, get a job. And I went, oh, okay, that makes heaps of sense. So I started working, I got a job working at a chiropractic clinic. And yeah, I worked there. And I think I was working there 6 days a week, like 5 or 6 days a week. We did some pretty weird hours while we were there, but that was great. I ended up being able to have chiropractic, free chiro, which was great. And I worked there for probably about 18 months, 2 years, and then I decided to go out kind of on my own and do mobile massage. So I did
That's
mobile
amazing.
massage.
How old are you?
I would have just turned 21. So yeah, so just turned 21.
Very enterprising.
I liked working for myself. It was nice. So
how did you start that? I mean, how...
Well, I just very quietly told all the people I was seeing at the chiropractic clinic that I was going out on my own. I didn't, and I said, oh, maybe if you find me, you want a massage.
So you would go to people's homes, do a mobile.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that was pretty much a 7-day-a-week kind of gig. I would, I had a lot of clients who I would travel around to see, and even like some clients, I would say I still see to this day, like that I've sort of kept in contact with and still have massage from me occasionally.
So you're still in pain, and you're now a massage therapist.
Yes.
And while you're giving people massages, you're still in pain.
Yes, all the time. Yep, and lifting I think at that stage my massage table was probably 10 or 15 kilos. So lifting massage tables, carrying bags filled with towels, driving, like all of the things. Yeah.
Wow. And I know at some point you said to me that your relationship with your mother went slightly not off the rails, but slightly not as good as you would have liked it to be.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Was that around that time?
Yeah. So I think, again, as a quite knowledgeable 21-year-old, I definitely knew everything about business.
I love it.
And so I think there was just times when my mum I'd be, talking with her about what was going on or all these things, and she would be offering me advice, and I'd be like, I don't want your advice. I don't want to hear it. And I think that caused some friction, I guess is probably the best way to put it. And now as a parent, I can tell she was being quite well-meaning, but it wasn't really, I guess, as a 21-year-old what you want. You don't want your mum and dad to be telling you what to do. You're like, no, I'm a grown-up. I'm an adult. And they're like, no, you're not. And so I would just I was very dismissive to her, and probably a bit unfairly, because she was a pretty smart lady and she did run a very successful business with my dad. So I probably should have listened to her advice more. But it just caused a lot of friction, and it just was one of those things where you could sort of just feel that you wanted, I guess, a bit of distance. You want to be your own person. You want to feel like a grown up. You're like, I'm a grown up. I can make my own decisions. And so you would more often do the opposite than do what they said. So
this is a real a tender topic, and it's very relevant to myself as well, because I've got grown up children and I've experienced exactly the same thing. As a mother, you've been through so much in your life, and you only want the best for your children. And
Absolutely.
your mother would have been coming from that place. I'm explaining to you because that's how I was.
Yes.
And both my older daughter and son, I'm always advising them, giving them unsolicited advice. and yet I can totally relate to that. It's not always welcome. And when you told me about that, Kristie, I mean, only recently my daughter said to me, Mom, if I want advice, I'll ask you for it.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I've really got to step back. And as parents, I think we've got to understand that the relationship from a mother to a child, it was adult child, and then as they grow up and have their own lives, and especially when they're married and have their own children,
yes,
like my daughter,
yes,
and I'm still trying to give her advice, it's then becomes adult. And if you treat it as adult child, then I'm the one that's going to suffer.
Yes.
And after you shared your story with me, I took a leaf out of your book. So thank you for sharing your story. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, my children have no problems telling me straight out, butt out, Mom, you had your chance. But just by default, we naturally tend, but I'm catching myself now, so it's absolutely a learning curve for parent and child. And yes, I just want you to know, yes, your mother came from a place of deep love and just wanting to contribute to your life as till the day we die. We want our children are our children, I'm tearing up.
Yes.
But we still have to learn that you're an adult in your own right, and you have the right to make the mistakes.
Yes,
that you're destined to make, like we made ours.
Absolutely, so, and sometimes it's
thank
difficult.
you for sharing that, because it's a big lesson for us parents. Yeah,
it's and again, it's something I sort of have taken into my life as a parent. Like, as you know, I've got a 15-year-old daughter, and she's entering that that phase of eye rolls and mum, and so I'm noticing that in myself now, and really making sure that I'm I guess giving her the space to ask me for advice and to see me as the person who can either hold the space for her to just tell me what's going on for her, or ask me to give her some of my wisdom, I guess. And so it's so difficult, because there are just those times when you're just kind of like, I can see the train coming and I want to push you off the train tracks, but I'm going to let it happen.
I know. It's a real difficult one.
It's so hard, so hard.
I follow a lady by the name of Mary Ann Williamson, and she talks about each of us have our own individualized curriculums. So we all have our life journey to live and the mistakes that we're destined to make, and we have to be allowed to make them.
100%.
Yeah, it's a big lesson for us.
Huge.
So you're 20. And you finished your course.
Finished my course.
You started your own mobile massage business.
Yes.
And then what happens?
So basically I kind of moved from clinics to different places, and we can sort of fast forward to around 2005. So I'm 25. I'm at a point where I'm seeing, 30, 40 clients a week. Like I'm very busy, like I'm really good at what I do. And I make the decision to open my own massage clinic. So I opened my very own little.
Oh, I just want to backtrack a little bit. Along the way, any boyfriends?
Oh, yes.
Can you give us a little bit of a peek into that?
So I met a wonderful man who was lovely, and we met on a night out when I was on a night out with some girlfriends, and he was on a night out with his boys, and we ended up being together for 10-ish kind of years, and that was a interesting relationship. We sort of started out, and we ended up living together relatively quickly. I think probably within about sort of 6 months we sort of moved in together. It just like was one of those things. Oh, this kind of makes sense. You're always here, so.
And is this during the massage course time?
No, this is just after.
Okay.
So just after working at the chiro clinic. So I think it was before I turned 21. So I think we celebrated my 21st birthday together. He's a good man. Had his flaws. I spent a lot of time integrating more so into his life than into mine so much. I moved into the townhouse where he was living down in the Bayside of Brisbane, so in Cleveland, and that was him and I think his younger brother and then one of his friends. So there was like 4 of us in sort of the house, and I was really the only female presence in the whole sort of place. So a lot of the default kind of mothering sort of fell to me. And honestly at 2021, I wouldn't have been a very great mother. So I was very much a case of no thank you. Wash your own towels, clean your own room. That's none of my business.
You taught well.
I was not going to clean up after anyone's mess that wasn't mine. Mm-hmm. So lived with him, and very often we lived with him and other friends and other people. He did have a bit of a drinking sort of issue, so that really impacted me in the sense of, again, I think becoming the person that became a bit of the protector. So always being ready to, like I never drank. I didn't really do anything much else. But basically like I was like, well, I'm always the sober one. I'm always ready if something happens, if someone needs help, if someone needs something.
You were the rock of the relationship kind of stable.
I think I tried to be. I think again, as much as you can be.
How long were you in that relationship, Kristie?
We were together for almost 10 years. So it was. And
was it all the 10 years when you were dealing with a drinking issue?
Yeah. So
how was that?
It was one of those things that it kind of crept up slowly. Like it was sort of, it wasn't something that you noticed initially. And then suddenly it was like, oh, every weekend revolves around a carton of beer and how much beer can we drink and And then every Tuesday is how many beers can we drink? And then suddenly it's Thursdays and
Did you notice from like in the 10 years, how soon did you notice that maybe this is not a healthy kind of situation that you're in?
Probably sooner than I'd like to admit.
Okay.
But again, I had a lot of my own sort of stuff going on. And again, relationship wise, I'd never really had a lot of kind of boyfriends prior to him. He was one of my very first serious relationships, and it got very serious very quickly. So
why do you think?
This is again something I'm sort of discovering about myself now, which was I was excited to be chosen. I was excited to be picked. It was one of those.
What do you mean? Yeah, okay. Tell us a little bit about that, because
I guess I was never the girl that got picked. So I had a tough front. I was tough. So high school, like even like through massage school, I was very emotionally guarded, but physically and emotionally kind of guarded. And so I didn't allow someone to pick me. And when he sort of, again, one night out in the city went, you're the one, like you're cute. And it was a completely different feeling. I was like, oh, he can see me, like he can, and he picked me. So
somebody wants me.
Somebody wants me.
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that, Kristie. That's a biggie, a real biggie to even, to share so deeply and vulnerably in this public conversation. But that's often, many of us deal with that, but we don't want to often talk about it, but that's what it is. That's the real part of being human, is that we have these limiting beliefs that we create for ourselves,
Very much so.
So you got into that relationship and stayed in it for the length that you stayed in, close to 10 years.
Yes.
Because you felt that you were actually picked by somebody.
Yeah.
When in the past you didn't feel that.
Yeah. And it felt like, I guess you start to think about it in almost the sort of sunk cost fallacy, where you go, I've invested so much time.
Yes.
I've put in all of this effort, and maybe he'll change.
Hope.
Oh, blind hope. And I think
what was the learning for you in there? When you when the relationship was?
When the relationship ended, I think it was that no matter how, like, you can put all of this effort in and sometimes it's just not going to work. But also that you're going to find that that you don't have control over how people react or how, like, sort of what people do. And as much as you might want someone to make the decision to change or to change how they're being, ultimately you don't have a lot of impact on that. They've got to make that choice for themselves. It's got to
come from them.
Yeah. And that's the same for you.
Yes.
So there comes a point where you do ask yourself if how much more could I take?
Yeah.
And there was a point where I couldn't go through the suffering anymore. So, and again, still at this time, where, running a business, we're doing all these things together. We're like all of the kind of.
So he helped you in the business.
Yes, he did help me in the business. And I'm still consistently in a level of pain physically at some point. And, it would ebb and flow through from, a 5 pain to a 10 pain to a 3 pain to a 11 pain. So you're like holding the fort, you're the one working, you're in pain, you're still working. Yes.
You're being the support for your partner because he's, not always in a stable position, space. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're the basic rock of the relationship kind of thing.
Yes. And had staff that I was supporting, had a business I was supporting, had partners. So it was a lot. It was a lot of pressure.
So did you end that relationship? Or
Yeah, I think more so that was definitely on my side that it kind of ended.
Yeah.
And I think it was.
What was your mum and dad knew what was going on?
Yeah, at this stage, I think I had kind of come back to spending a lot more time with my mum and sort of speaking with her a lot more. And they were very supportive of making that decision. Again, I think when you sort of as a parent, when you reflect on it, you go, I'm sure she saw how much discomfort I was in and how difficult everything was, and it made that. I think it was a relief for them when I finally sort of made the decision and sort of did it.
Would have been painful for them to watch.
Yeah, it's that train coming down the train tracks again.
Yeah,
they were sort of like,
Yeah.
And but again, they had to let me make my own mistakes.
Correct. That's the not so nice part of life. To watch your
hardest-
children
The hardest bit.
when you know what's happening, and you've got to be at that arm's length and be there for them when they do fall, to hold them. you know.
Yes, yeah.
So you're now in your close to 30 somewhere.
Yeah, so
10 years.
29 coming into my 30th sort of year. And again, pretty quickly out of that relationship, I got into another relationship. And I met the father of my daughter, and we very quickly jointly made the decision that we were going to have a baby. So we met.
That was fast.
Really fast, really, really quick. And
How did that come about? I mean, what was the speed? It was just
3 months.
And were you sure that this was going to be your partner or your lifetime partner, or what made the decision so quick?
I think I hit that, and I feel like a lot of women in their sort of 30s might understand this feeling where suddenly you're like, I need to have a baby. And he also was just sort of on board with it. And it was just something just sort of clicked, just all kind of clicked together. And we sort of met in I think the Christmas, we met around Christmas time. And then by the February, surprise,
Wow.
pregnant. Yes.
And what were your parents? What was mum? How was that for her when she found out?
She did sort of look across. We sat at a cafe, and I said, surprise. And she wasn't very good at holding her face. So you could see the eyes went wide and the face kind of dropped and the eyebrows went in, and you could see the wheels spinning. And she sort of looked at me and went, are you sure? And I went, yeah, I'm sure. And so she very quickly kind of came around to I'm going to be a grandparent and I'm going to have a grandchild. I like to say I was the Obi-Wan Kenobi of my family. I was the only hope. And so it was a pretty deep realization for both my parents at that time, to sort of that there was going to be a grandchild. And so I think they were able to put aside the circumstances, and they were just, I think, genuinely very excited. And very happy. Yeah.
So lovely.
Yeah. It was really nice. So
and then I know things went a little bit with regards to your mum.
yes. So in the November of 2010.
So you're still pregnant.
I had my daughter in the November of 2010. Ugh. And so, yes, so 2010 she was born, and then by the February of 2011, so sort of 3 months later, my mum was diagnosed with stage 4 bone cancer. So, and that was a massive shock to our entire family. Just, it felt like it came out of literally nowhere. She'd had a little bit of back pain.
How old was mum?
Mum had literally just turned 60 in the December.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so she was 60, and she just had her first grandchild. She was so excited, and it was a really devastating sort of diagnosis on a lot of levels. Mostly because cancer, the type of cancer she had was technically what they call a secondary cancer. So something had precipitated it, and they didn't know what. And
Do you know what stage it was diagnosed at?
4.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So it was, it was basically a case of the oncologist she saw looked at her, looked at my dad, and just sort of shook his head and said, "I'm very sorry.
Wow.
And we'll make you as comfortable as we can." They gave her, so that was in the February, and they gave her 3 months sort of maximum. That it was really difficult. I had a tiny baby. My baby was 2.5 months old when she was diagnosed. So
what a shock that would have been for your whole family.
It was, we were all, I think, in a bit of disbelief. Like everyone sort of was just,
where did that come from?
Yeah, how does it sort of
at
pan
60
out?
you normally just, and a baby on the way, she would have been so excited. You're just kind of done with your working life, and you're taking on like a new chapter in your life is starting, and you've excitement with a grandchild on the way, and then, you never know what life's going to throw you, do you?
No.
So then I know you drastically changed your life from there on. What did you do?
So essentially, I made the decision to close down my massage business. So we essentially just shut the doors.
Was it profitable at that point?
Maybe. Like I'm not I'm not the numbers guy. So I probably should have listened more to my mum. But yeah, it was making enough. It was making enough to kind of sustain sort of everyone. But again, it had sort of gotten to a point where it became more important to spend time with my mum. Yeah,
So it was like a bit of a no-brainer.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think I spent probably 2 days making phone calls to pretty much everyone on our client list. So probably 100 phone calls, maybe more, and just saying, "Hey, I'm really sorry, we're closing the business. My mum's got stage 4 cancer." And there's nothing like repetition to just kind of really cement it in your brain that that's what's happening. So, my ex-partner was very helpful. My parents are still in Gladstone, so I basically made the decision, or we came to the decision together, that I would move to Gladstone for as long as I could to spend time with her, so mum could spend time with my daughter. And he stayed here in Brisbane working and packing up the business. He'd work through the day and then come and like pack up massage
that
tables.
would have been tough for him as well.
Oh, it was. I feel like it was a very lonely time for him. Yeah. But he's the man you want in a crisis. So he was
so good.
Yeah, he was very supportive. It was hard because again, I took his daughter 600 kilometers away, and he didn't get to have those sort of very formative kind of months.
And you permanently lived in Gladstone with mum?
Well, I moved up there with the intention that I would be there for as long as it took, essentially. So we were given 3 months by the doctors, and I think through her sheer determination and will, and she changed her life pretty drastically, changed her food, changed her diet, did all of the natural therapies, all of the things. She ended up surviving until the July of 2011. So we sort of had till Easter. They were like Easter, and we got July. So we ended up getting sort of 5 months to spend with her. And so I spent pretty much 5 months living in Gladstone.
What was that like for you, Kristie, being there in those 5 months, knowing that your mom's going to pass and that you had these kind of distance from her in the past, your disagreements or whatever?
It certainly made so it certainly brought everything into a really sort of stark reality for me. I mean, also just the consistent exhaustion of being a new parent and single parenting, essentially. I feel like it really I really got to see my mum sort of how other people saw her, which was really beautiful, and also have time to spend just being with her,
beautiful,
not having to, there was no, a lot of the time it was events, occasions, birthdays, Christmases, Easters, things that we were sort of wrapping, visiting or seeing each other around. And this was a time where, while it felt hurried because we've got limited time, there was a sort of almost a slowness to it because it just sort of felt very drawn out. It was a short time and a long time in the same breath. I was really privileged to see my mum in, I guess, in all of her Gladstone royalty.
Wow. And you said lots of community would visit. Tell us about that, because that's so beautiful.
So many people. Every day we lived about 15 or 20 minutes out of Gladstone, and Mum and Dad had built a beautiful home overlooking some lovely, a valley and beautiful hills. And Mum would have one of those sort of easy chair kind of things, and she would come from her bed and we'd move her from her bed onto the chair so that she could sit out on the sort of deck and look out over the kind of valley. And then we would just watch people coming up the driveway, and it was just a stream of people, to the point where we set visiting hours, because there was times when we were just like, Mum needs to rest, she's tired and needs to sleep. And it was everyone from other local business owners, people who they'd supported and helped. The local blood bank volunteers came. I don't think I've eaten more cake and slice and biscuits and cups of tea in my entire life. But it was just this outpouring of love.
That's so beautiful. Yeah.
It was. And when she passed away, we held the funeral, and I think there were more people than could fit in the building.
Isn't that amazing?
And I always laugh because I remember seeing the beautiful elderly volunteers from the blood bank ladies, and then also the local biker gang showed up as well. We had the Black Yulins show up.
What was her involvement with them?
She was just a local member of the community. My dad rode motorbikes, and they all showed up in full.
That's a grand funeral. That really is a grand funeral if your entire community comes there and you're spilling out of the church.
It was.
I mean, that's a life well lived.
It was phenomenal.
Rich.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And it sort of, it made you realize, again, as a sort of an adult, this person who I saw as this one kind of narrow
one dimension, yes.
She was so many things to so many people, and and just how she had touched so many lives.
Isn't that beautiful?
And again, it sort of highlights the fact that I think you don't really know your parents until you sort of see them outside of being a parent. but also that you don't really know like the impact you're going to have on people. And hopefully it doesn't take your funeral for you to realize it, but you are probably more impactful than you seem if what you're doing is just like giving to people and helping and seeing where you can.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was a really lovely moment. So yeah.
Talking about not getting to know your parents till much later in life, that was me as well. My mum had her stroke when she was 75, and I brought her here to Australia to look after for a year after her stroke.
Yeah.
And I didn't I didn't have a strange relationship with my mother, but I knew I was very different to her.
Yes.
So I wasn't close to mom. It was only when I lived with her and I started asking her questions that I fell in love with my mother. Like literally at 50, I fell in love with my mother, and I was lucky I got a good 10 years after that. Well, not 50, I must have been about 47 when mom came here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's when you actually take that time to get to know your mother outside of that parent-child relationship, but just as another human being.
Yeah.
And I was lucky to have it when she was alive, you know.
Yeah.
You saw it through a different lens, but so valuable lesson, such a valuable lesson for anybody to recognize, to get to know your parents while they're alive. You know? Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
So mum passes away.
Yes.
In which year?
2011.
Okay. And then what happens? You move. We're going to have to speed along. I'm not sure how much time we've got. Yeah, I think we've run off.
So essentially, like life goes back to normal. I moved back to Brisbane. I do remember. It was so eerie. It was like suddenly there was everyone there, and then suddenly everyone had just sort of vanished out of. They sort of left everything alone, and so you just went back to my life, and I'd dismantled my life. I'd fully closed all my businesses, done all the things, and I'd sort of prepared for it to be a much longer amount of time, and it was suddenly I kind of got back to Brisbane. I was like, oh, just me and the baby then. So, so it was a lot. It was a lot to just kind of be alone and sort of be in my own sort of thoughts and have this.
From a very intense 3-4 months, now you're back in Brisbane too.
Yeah.
Just you and baby. And where was your partner at the time?
So he worked in and out of kind of FIFO and sort of different sort of jobs, and it was a pretty unstable time for us. I think mostly. Eventually, probably after about 6 months, I went back to doing massage. I just went back to what I knew, and restarted working for myself, which was great because I could fit that in around childcare and kids and like all of the things.
When did you pivot into
marketing? So around 2017, 2018, I started to sort of get right into the kind of marketing side of the world. I'd spent a lot of time marketing my own businesses. I was always my own marketing department. And so I started sort of coaching massage therapists in sort of how to build their own businesses and sort of doing a lot of those kinds of things. I'm very much self-taught. I've watched every webinar, done every free course, paid for courses.
So your marketing knowledge comes from self-taught.
Yes.
And then I know you worked in 2 or 3 different companies.
Yeah. So
tell us about the last company that you worked in and why you decided to not work there anymore.
Okay.
Was the veteran?
Yeah. So I worked for an internal marketing agency for a veteran healthcare organization. Not a veteran, have veterans in my life. But it was a cause that I really felt very drawn to. It's a vulnerable community. They have quite a lot of challenges. I was the initial kind of marketing hire for that particular business. I worked there for a bit over 4 years, like 4-ish kind of years. And over that time, we built from having three main businesses to eventually having 25 in market and 80 entities that were part of the entire ecosystem. So,
And why did you enjoy working there? What was the?
I think there's not
Because you said something about it made a difference to people's lives, and then their focus changed.
Yeah. So I initially worked there because I guess I wanted to help prevent veteran suicide. That was basically the line that hooked me. And yeah, over time, the business, it almost felt like they forgot why we were there. I was really lucky because again, I got to read the comments. I got to read reply emails from veterans who we supported. And I could tell that even though I wasn't in healthcare, I wasn't supporting them directly, that somehow my marketing had helped them find access to a service that they never thought they could possibly access. And sort of over time, it sort of felt like, I guess the way I've described it is that the business sort of went 1 degree off course over time. And it sort of it ended up not being, I guess, values aligned with sort of myself.
Yeah, yes. That's a fair enough reason to want to. And so you resigned from there?
No, I was made redundant. So, yeah. So
which you happily accepted?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think the lesson I took away from that was, even though I felt like I was a very important part of the whole kind of machine, everyone's replaceable at the end of the day. And no matter if you give and sacrifice and do everything you're asked, at the end of the day, if you're no longer necessary.
And you worked long hours.
Yeah, I was working 60, 70 hours a week. Yeah.
Burnout in the making kind of thing.
I had no idea how deep in burnout I was until I actually stopped working. And
you were a single mum at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to have to fast forward this a little bit. So you've resigned from there. And when was that?
That was the end of this year, end of last year, so end of 2025. Yeah.
And now you've just started working on your own, doing a bit of marketing again.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you just go with the flow. It seems to be, Kristie.
Yeah.
And you've certainly got tons of wisdom in you from your life's experiences and just having conversations with you. I'm learning at 60. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your deep sharing.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think. There was just one thing I wanted to draw out, and that was what your father said to you. I'm going to read back. Your father said something to you about when mum died.
Yeah.
What was his
I think
reflection?
This was one of those moments where, again, everyone, like, funeral happens, everyone vanishes suddenly. And I remember sitting with my dad on the balcony, like on the deck, and he wasn't crying, but he was in tears. And he said to me, I worked so hard. I'd worked my whole life. And all I wanted to do was spend it with the person that I love the most. And now she's gone. And it hit me then. But it hit me again when I was, again, made redundant. And I his words came back to me in my mind, and I realized that I wasn't being present with the people who I loved. I wasn't seeing them in the moments where it was really important, because I could work until to the bone. I could work myself till I died. And would I have spent the time with my daughter that I needed to? Would I have spent the time with people who I love? And so it was a moment where you suddenly realize that you have to take the moments that you're given. Like you can't, like it's not promised. Like tomorrow isn't promised to you. And if you don't see it, someone will take it away.
Yeah.
And
seize the moment.
Absolutely.
And
100%.
I think we realize sometimes a bit too late, but so many lessons learned from there is to, know what's most important for you and give that attention.
100%.
Wayne Dyer, a guy that I used to follow, he has this notion about put the big rocks in first. So if you have a jar, put the big rocks or family, fun,
friends,
whatever in first.
Yep.
And then whatever's left in the space, you chuck in the smaller pebbles, could be whatever. Yeah.
Work.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you love what you do, it's a different thing again.
Absolutely.
But, we're going to end over there, but I'm going to ask you one last question.
Okay.
If you had to give people some life advice from your own journey?
Yes.
What would that be? What's the thing you've learned? Biggest thing you've learned?
The biggest thing I've learned is,
apart from the one we just spoke about,
probably the biggest thing that I've learned is say the thing. So say it imperfectly, say it with your whole chest. And when you say the truth to people, they might feel hurt, but not saying it will also hurt them. So it's really important. It's everything. It's say I love you, say I've missed you. Reach out to that person who you think about and just tell them you're thinking about them. And then also when you feel that pull or that moment in your chest where you think this isn't right or this isn't the right thing for me, say it.
That as well.
Say it out loud.
Wonderful. So be true to yourself, basically. And to others.
And I think it's important to be true to other people and to be real with other people and imperfectly real. Like the imperfection is actually
perfection.
It's where the magic happens.
Amazing piece of advice from Kristie. Thank you so much, Kristie, for being here. It's been an absolute delight to have this conversation with you, as always.
Awesome.
And I'm sure our guests are going to get a lot of value out of this, learning from this conversation.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. If you've loved this conversation with Kristie, we'd love you to subscribe, like, and put a comment on on the channel, on the podcast, so that it spreads sooner than we would like it, sooner than it would normally. And these stories can get out far and wide. Truth telling is so valuable at this moment in history. So thank you for being here, and until the next show.